Marcus Thompson was the young man with golden hands in the neighborhood. At 22, he was creating miracles in his father's small auto repair shop. Until the day a rich woman came with her Mercedes, and he discovered the deadly secret in her life. In Crown Heights, Brooklyn, on Atlantic Avenue, there was a small auto repair shop. The Thompson Auto Repair sign, even with its faded paint, was a source of pride. The owner of this shop, Robert Thompson, 48, was an experienced master mechanic who had been doing this job for 25 years. But his greatest source of pride came from his son Marcus's natural talent. Marcus Thompson, 22, had started learning his father's trade at a young age and possessed an innate mechanical ability. A tall, athletic, dark-skinned young man, Marcus could listen to engine sounds like music and understand car problems with almost a sixth sense. His friends called him Golden Hands because there was no car that Marcus couldn't fix. Thompson Auto Repair was a respected place in the neighborhood. Mostly middle-income families' cars would come, and Marcus and his father would repair them at reasonable prices. Customers didn't just come for car repairs. They also came for honesty, reliability, and fair prices. The Thompson family's 25-year reputation was worth gold in the neighborhood. Marcus's life was simple but satisfying. He would wake up early in the morning, work with his father at the repair shop, and take engineering classes at Brooklyn College in the evenings. His goal was to one day establish his own automotive engineering company. But for now, everything he learned alongside his father was laying the foundation for his future dreams. That Wednesday morning, Marcus arrived at the repair shop at 7 a.m. as usual. His father, Robert, was already under the hood of a Honda Civic. He called to his son with a smile. "Good morning, son. There's a special job for you today," Marcus asked curiously while wiping his hands. "What kind of special?" "A Mercedes S-Class is coming here at 10. The owner is a very rich woman, Victoria Sterling. She said the car is making strange noises." Marcus frowned. "Mercedes? At a small repair shop like ours? Why didn't she take it to the dealer service?" Robert shrugged. "I don't know. Maybe it was an emergency." "You'll look at that Mercedes. Be careful, it's an expensive car." Marcus nodded. Mercedes S-Classes usually didn't come to neighborhood repair shops like this. They mostly went to authorized services. But Marcus thought this situation would be a good learning opportunity for him. At 10:15, a shiny silver Mercedes S-Class parked in front of the repair shop. The woman who got out of the car made her wealth obvious in every way. Victoria Sterling was in her early 40s with long blonde hair, perfectly dressed, adorned with expensive jewelry. Even the sound her high heels made on the repair shop's oily floor was careful and calculated. Marcus wiped his hands on a rag and greeted her. "Good day, I'm Marcus Thompson. Your father said you would meet with us." Victoria looked Marcus up and down. There was slight contempt in her eyes. "Are you going to look at my car? You look very young." "Yes, ma'am. I've been doing this job for 5 years. I have experience with Mercedes." Victoria hesitated for a moment. "This S-Class is worth $150,000. Are you sure you can handle it?" Marcus smiled calmly. "Ma'am, money makes a car expensive, but an engine always remains an engine. Let's first understand what the problem is." Victoria handed the keys to Marcus. "For the last 2 days, the engine has been making strange noises, especially when I accelerate. Also, the brakes feel a bit soft." Marcus noted this information: engine noises and brake problems. 2 different systems, but having problems at the same time was a bit strange. "Okay, let me examine the car. It might take about an hour." Victoria slung her expensive bag over her shoulder. "I'll wait. Please be careful." Marcus pulled the Mercedes inside the repair shop and opened the hood. The S-Class engine was indeed a perfect engineering product. But when Marcus listened carefully, he really heard a strange sound. Not just engine noise, but like the sound of something metal scraping. First, he checked the engine oil. The level was normal, but the oil color was a bit dark. Then he examined the belts. The V-belt was a bit loose, but this couldn't explain that sound. Marcus decided to examine more deeply. He lifted the car and went underneath. While checking under the engine block, something caught his eye. On the engine's lower panel, there was a screw that looked normal but was in the wrong place. Marcus carefully examined that area. The screw wasn't an original factory screw. Its color and shape were completely different. Even more interesting, there were slight scratches on the metal surface around that screw, as if someone had recently opened and closed that section. Marcus's experience told him this situation wasn't normal. There was no routine maintenance reason to open the engine's lower panel. Moreover, the car had only done 15,000 kilometers. It was very new. Carefully, he removed that screw and opened the panel. What he saw inside shocked him. A small electronic device that wasn't an original part was attached to the engine block. The device was placed right near the engine cooling system, and thin cables came out of it. These cables were connected to the car's original electrical system. Marcus had never seen such a device before. This was definitely not a factory part. Even worse, the device seemed to have a connection with the engine cooling system. With his heart beating fast, Marcus took a photo of the device before removing it. Then he carefully removed the device and examined it. There were no brand labels on it, but its electronic components looked quite advanced. Meanwhile, he decided to check the brake system too. When he went under the car and examined the brake lines, he discovered something strange there too. In the brake hydraulic system, there was an abnormal connection. Between the brake pedal and the main brake center, a small but critical electronic module was installed. This module was the type that could control brake pressure. Alarm bells started ringing in Marcus's head. In both the engine system and the brake system of the car, electronic devices had been installed without permission. These devices could affect the car's engine and brake performance with remote control. This was sabotage. Marcus came out from under the car and called Victoria. The woman was sitting in the small waiting area of the repair shop, busy with her phone. "Ma'am, there's something important I need to tell you about your car." Victoria noticed Marcus's serious tone. "What happened? Is the car very broken?" Marcus showed the electronic device in his hand. "I removed this device from your car's engine block. It's not an original part. Also, there's a similar modification in your brake system." Victoria looked at the device, but didn't understand what it was. "What does this mean?" "Ma'am, these devices can be remotely controlled. Someone has modified your car so they can control your engine and brake systems from outside." Victoria's face turned white. "What are you saying? This is impossible." "Unfortunately, it's very possible. Modern cars are controlled through electronic systems. These devices can suddenly stop your car's engine or disable your brakes." Victoria stood up, her hands trembling. This means someone is trying to kill me." Marcus nodded. "At least they're trying to control your car. This is very dangerous. If the engine suddenly stops while you're going at high speed, or if the brakes don't work." Victoria collapsed into the chair. "But who could do such a thing? Why?" "I don't know, ma'am, but these devices are professional work. The person who did this is an expert in both electronics and automotive." Victoria took out her phone and started dialing. "I need to call the police." "Yes, definitely. Also, don't use your car. We don't know yet how these devices are triggered." After Victoria finished her phone conversation, she looked at Marcus. "The police will be here in half an hour. You saved my life." Marcus humbly bowed his head. "I just did my job, ma'am." "No, you did much more than that. Another mechanic might not have noticed these details." 30 minutes later, 2 police cars came to the repair shop. Detective Sarah Coleman and her team examined the electronic devices Marcus had found. "This is very serious," said Detective Coleman. "These types of devices are used in professional assassination attempts." Victoria told the police that she had experienced strange things in recent weeks. Several times, the car's behavior seemed strange. In traffic, the engine power suddenly decreased. The brakes once felt completely soft. "But I never thought these were sabotage." Detective Coleman turned to Marcus. "How did you notice these devices?" "The abnormality in the engine sound made me suspicious. When I went underneath, the non-original screw caught my attention. When I investigated, I found these electronic modules." "Where does your technical knowledge come from?" "I've been doing this job for 5 years. I'm also studying engineering. I have theoretical knowledge about modern cars' electronic systems." Detective Coleman was impressed. "By discovering this sabotage, you probably prevented a murder." As the investigation deepened, Detective Coleman's forensic team began a systematic analysis of the devices. The electronic modules were sent to the FBI's cybercrimes unit for detailed examination. "These aren't off-the-shelf devices," explained FBI tech specialist Agent Mike Chen. The serial numbers trace back to a specialized security equipment supplier in Newark. But here's the interesting part. They were purchased with a corporate credit card. Agent Chen pulled up the financial records on his laptop. The card belongs to Walsh Consulting Services, 3 purchases in the last month, totaling $15,000. Detective Coleman cross-referenced the company name. Walsh Consulting. Victoria, does that name mean anything to you? Victoria's face went pale. David Walsh. He's my former business partner. We've been in a legal battle over our technology company. The investigation revealed a complex web of corporate espionage and attempted murder. David Walsh, who owned 40% of Sterling Technologies, had been trying to force Victoria out of the company. When legal methods failed, he had turned to more sinister tactics. Phone records showed multiple calls between Walsh and a man named Tommy the Wrench Carboni, a former auto mechanic with a criminal record for insurance fraud and vehicle tampering. Security footage from a parking garage near Victoria's office building showed Carboni accessing her Mercedes on 2 separate occasions. The beautiful thing about this evidence, Detective Coleman explained to Marcus, is that Walsh thought he was being clever by using corporate accounts. But corporate transactions leave digital footprints that are impossible to erase. Bank records revealed that Walsh had paid Carboni $25,000 for automotive consultation services, a thinly veiled payment for the sabotage job. The final piece of evidence came from the devices themselves. The FBI's analysis showed that the remote control software had been tested from an IP address registered to Walsh's home office. Amateur mistake from someone who thought he was being sophisticated. David Walsh and Tommy Carboni were arrested within 48 hours. Walsh's plan had been to cause Victoria's accidental death while she was driving, making it look like a mechanical failure. With Victoria gone, he would have inherited her shares and gained full control of Sterling Technologies. A few days later, Victoria visited Marcus at the repair shop. This time, she was in a completely different state. Her arrogance was gone, replaced by genuine gratitude. Marcus, I don't know how to thank you. No need, ma'am. I just did what was right. No, you saved my life. If you hadn't noticed those devices, I might not be alive right now. Victoria took a thick envelope from her bag. This is for you. A small thank you. When Marcus opened the envelope, he saw there was $50,000 inside. He looked at Victoria in amazement. Ma'am, this is too much. I wasn't expecting anything like this. Marcus, you saved my life. This money is the price of your honesty and talent. Marcus hesitated to accept the money. Ma'am, I just did my job. You did much more than your job. Someone else might have overlooked these details. Robert Thompson came to his son's side. Son, you've earned this money. Accept it. Marcus finally accepted the money. This money was enough for him to complete his education at Brooklyn College and start his own business. But Victoria's offer didn't end there. Marcus, I want to make you another offer. My company works on automotive technologies. You're studying engineering and you're very talented with cars. Would you like to work at my company after you complete your education? Marcus's mouth dropped open. Are you offering me a job? Yes. You have both theoretical knowledge and practical experience. Also, your honesty and observation skills are proven. We need people like that. Marcus looked at his father. Robert smiled and nodded. Ma'am, this is a very generous offer, but I need to complete my education. Of course, you finish school and we'll wait for you. We can also cover your education expenses. Marcus couldn't believe his dreams were coming true. I accept, ma'am. Thank you. 3 years later, Marcus Thompson graduated from engineering school. At Victoria's company, Sterling Technologies, he was head of the Automotive Security Systems Department. The sabotage devices he had discovered had made him an expert on security vulnerabilities in cars. The security systems Marcus developed could detect whether there had been unauthorized interference in cars. These systems began to be used by many luxury car brands, especially Mercedes. 5 years after that day at the repair shop, Marcus was now the youngest engineering manager at Sterling Technologies. But every weekend, he would come to his father's repair shop and continue to repair cars with him. A strong friendship developed between Victoria Sterling and Marcus Thompson after this incident. Victoria saw Marcus not just as an employee, but as part of the family. One day, Victoria had said to Marcus, "That day when you were examining my car, you weren't just looking for a mechanical problem. You were paying attention to details, thinking logically. That's what makes you different. Marcus had smiled and replied, "My father taught me this. Every problem is the beginning of a solution. The important thing is to see the problem correctly." Today, Marcus Thompson, at 27, is a recognized expert in automotive security technologies. The systems he developed protect the lives of thousands of people. And in every success, he remembers the words Victoria Sterling said that day, "You saved my life." Marcus's answer is always the same: "I just did what was right." Sometimes the smallest details create the biggest differences, because real expertise is hidden not just in knowing, but in noticing. And sometimes saving a life is as simple as being careful and listening to your conscience.